Hi crafty friends, and welcome back to the inspiration behind how I'm going to build my Graphic 45 Scenic Route mini album. This mini album is for my Scenic Route kit. It will be pre-cut. It's available for pre-order already. I will link that in the description box below. And then once the album is finished, there will also be a tutorial using the assembly guide and cutting guide that I developed for the kit. And you can purchase the chipboard cover and the pieces to make your own album if you already have the paper. Now, this is not going to be a full tutorial showing you how to make the actual album. This is just giving you the kind of sneak peek or behind the scenes look at how I go about designing my albums. So I already went through the cover and how I chose this cover. I've added some decorative papers. There's a video on YouTube, just a really quick short video showing you the cover. I'm not going through that. I did mention in the previous video that I was going to put some waterfall photos on the inside of my panels. I've done that and I've added those on. I'm going to talk a little bit about that and then how I'm going to build this out. You'll see I did already add some colored paper on the inside, and that is because I have a general idea of what I'm going to do now. Now with these here, these will be magnetic closures to keep my full-size 4x6 waterfall flaps closed. I wanted to pick something that would be pretty similar because this, when it's open, you're going to see this, and then the centerpiece is going to be built up. So this is going to be almost like a spread. I think of my albums similar to how I think of traditional 12x12 layouts where I have a spread of pages. I do the same thing across my pages as well so that everything looks cohesive. Now I've chosen these two pieces because they have the flowers in the green and then the blues. I've gone through some different chipboard pieces or different ephemera pieces and didn't really like the look of them, that they weren't even. I had a really pretty one that had more of the orange color, but I didn't like that it was orange here and blue here. One of the other things that I will sometimes do is bring in pieces like this. So this is the journaling cards. This is what's left over of my cut apart or my border page. And sometimes I will actually use these pieces as my pieces on the front of my cards. And I almost did this with these pieces, but I again decided that I wanted them to match, and there weren't two of them that I thought matched really well. Like this one and this one I could have used, but one is in the landscape orientation, one is portrait, and I wanted there to be symmetrical look here. So that is actually why I went with these two pieces here. This is also going to bring a little bit of blue into my design because I have blue here and then I have blue here on that front cover. Then I'm going to also think about what's going to go here on the front cover, and I will blend it. I do not have any plans yet for the papers for this. I will actually pick my papers after I finish building. So once I do the cover, I actually decorate the cover first. Usually I just do the outside of the cover and I do the inside of the cover completely last. But because of the style of this album, it's not a traditional album with those 4 pages. It's a little different. So I did need to go through here to make sure that I had everything perfectly sized. My magnets were going to work okay, and then I'm going to build this up. So that's how I've started with this and how I've come up with these 2 pieces. And then I'm going to jump in here into the center. Now in the last video, I mentioned that I could put a page here and a page here and do a gatefold. I thought about doing that. Truth be told, I didn't even think about it when I put these 2 pieces down for the spine. And once I did that, I said, well, I'm not going to do that because I would have to cover this paper. But I actually came up with a better idea, and it's one I had mentioned in the previous video, that I'm going to think of this in terms of how I would think about a folio base, and I'm going to build this up similar to that. Now to kind of highlight my point of what I'm doing, I did bring this little tiny album in here because it perfectly shows what it is I'm talking about. So this is just a little leftover, this is all my scraps. I don't remember if I did this when I was a brand ambassador for Graphic 45 the first time, or if this was just a project that I did after something else. I do have a tutorial somewhere on my YouTube channel for this though, if you want to make one. So this is like a snippet roll, basically. It just keeps rolling, but it's the same concept. So this album, when it opens, it has this spine here, which would be similar to this one. So we've got this panel, we've got our spine, and then we've got this section here. So we've got this spine is actually just a little tiny bit smaller than this spine here. That's what makes it so that it fits perfectly, because we've got that build up here, gives us some room, and then we've got our spine piece. And now if I do this, we've got this piece would be here like this. So this is actually here, but instead of doing that in the album, I would be building it up here. So it's not going to roll, it's going to fold in on itself. So here I would have this section where these pieces can flip up and down basically. But we've got these spines on all these sides that just get smaller and smaller. And so what it does is it allows me to have all these things. I've got these little flips, I've got belly bands, I've got pockets, just keeps going here. I've got little pieces that pull out. And so I've started with this one piece here. This is just a solid piece that's got a belly band and a tag in it, but it's a single piece of cardstock. And then I've got another single piece of cardstock, and it starts to get thicker. So now, because I have this rolled up and you can see it's adding some dimension, I need that 1/2 inch. It looks like 1/2 inch or 3/8. I think it's 1/2 inch. I need that 1/2 inch little extra spine piece to give it some room to have all this dimension in there. And so then if I flip this up, it's going to allow that to sit perfectly flat. So it's not caved down and it's not sticking up like this. This actually, well, this piece is actually curved, so it's a little harder to see. But hopefully you can see that on camera, that this paper, this part is now laying flat. So now I have another piece here. This is a chipboard piece from Graphic 45, and it's pretty thick. You know, it's about 1/8 of an inch. And so I've got these things tucked in here and I need to accommodate for it. So I've got this and the width of this. So now I've got here, and I believe this is probably 3/4 of an inch. Again, I've got another little pocket here with a little tiny booklet in it for photos. Gives it a little bit more thickness to it. So now I've got my spine piece again because I'm adding the thickness of this and this. And again, I hope you can see that. It is laying flat. Now I've got my little pieces here, so that adds a little bit of bulk. I've got my piece here. This one opens like this. This is a little tuck spot with chipboard to keep that tag closed. And then in my pocket here, I've got a little piece too. So again, we've got that thickness. So my next spine is a little bit thicker to accommodate for that. And then everything rolls and fits inside. So the concept behind this is what I'm going to be doing here on the inside. Like I mentioned, it's not going to keep going outward this way. That would actually be hard to contain, and it's hard enough already having this piece down. I don't want to keep flipping things every direction. So what I will likely do is put something like a large pocket on the base of the page, and then that will actually be one of the last things I do. I'm going to be building this with the sides here in mind and then building layers down. So this is 1.5, so I'm probably going to make my first one 1 1/4, and then this side would be 1 inch, and then I would do basically 3/4 and 1/2 inch and then 1/4 inch. So I would step it down, or if I had one top and bottom flipping out, I would do the same thing, stepping it down. I need to make sure that I leave room here, so when my papers are on, this is going to be thicker, so I'm not going to smash it down like this. I'm going to expand it out like this, and I'm going to accommodate for this probably being about 1/4 of an inch. So that 1/4 of an inch here and here is why this, I'm going to be doing my first one at about 1 1/4, because this is 1 1/2. This will give me my 1/4 of an inch and then 1 1/4, and it will keep that where it's perfectly level on there. So as long as I'm considering all the bulk underneath of this, these pieces, when they come up, they will not be gapped. So if you're building a design like this, something you have to keep in mind is not only are you putting cardstock here for your elements themselves, but your decorative papers and then the photos as well. So you have to be careful about that because photos also add bulk. You have to pay attention to make sure that you have enough space to allow that bulk so that the pages can expand once those photos are inside. Now, when it comes to actually designing the pieces, the interactive elements themselves, it really just depends on the paper collection how I do this. Sometimes I will design these specific features based on the papers. Sometimes I just design whatever features I want and I fit my papers to the actual design. I usually look at the few sheets that have really large designs. So I typically look at the signature sheet. So for Scenic Route, we've got all these pieces, but I could cut this and make this an image. I could cut this and make this an image. I could use these separate and these separate. So there's a lot that I could do with this. I'm not stuck on this. I don't have to make it be one or the other, where a certain image, if I didn't use the whole thing, it would look funny. So I'm safe with this paper. Same thing with my cut apart sheet or my border sheet. I've got all these pieces. I don't need to specifically do a certain thing, so I'm safe with that one. And then my journaling cards as well are pretty easy to use because they're just straightforward cuts, or I could make a card out of one or something like that. And then these other papers, they tend to be pretty simple actually. So for graphic 45, sometimes the papers are much busier. Like this is an example. I've already used this paper. This is busier, so I'd have to pay attention and not cut, you know, this in half here. It would look silly, but I could do a lot with this. So I don't have to worry too much about that. And the back side is just this pattern, and it's a very simple pattern, so I don't have to worry. This one, again, it's a pattern paper. It's a busy pattern, but it would be very simple to cut this and use this as squares or as rectangular pieces. So no worries there or on the back side. This one too. And so the idea behind this collection is I can't say it's basic. That sounds like it's bad. It's not basic, but it's very simple designs. You know, some of graphic 45 papers are incredibly busy, and it's really hard because you will cut something out that you can't really use the whole paper. I think Alice in Wonderland collection was like that, and the Wizard of Oz collection were like that, where you've got like an image on, you know, this part of the paper, so you have to be careful of the size. But this paper isn't really like that. Even this one, I can cut it in half this way and use the top or the bottom just fine. I could cut it here, I could cut it here, I could cut it here, and it wouldn't look funny. So this paper is going to be pretty easy to design with. In that regard, I am not going to pay attention to my paper at all. I'm just going to be setting my paper aside as I work on building out my elements. So I will completely move this off to the side, and I'll just build this however I choose to build it. The one thing that I will pay attention to though is that I've only got a limited number of papers. I've got my 8x8 collection pack, and I've got my patterns and solids pack. And I want to make sure that I fit this to the album. I don't want to have too much stuff in my album and not enough decorative paper where I'm running out. And now why I'm thinking of that is because this is, again, for a mini album kit, and I purchase a set number for each kit. So I purchase one 8x8 paper collection, one patterns and solids, and one ephemera assortment. And that's what I design my album around. So keeping that in mind, if you're designing your album and you have additional papers, then you can add additional things to your album and it would be perfectly fine. But if you are limited in the amount of decorative paper you have, you want to pay attention to this at the start of designing so that you don't run out halfway through and you're stuck and you can't finish your album. Now, as I go throughout building this, I may come back and show you some sneak peeks of what it looks like or explain to you why I did certain things. But since I have no idea what I'm going to do, we'll see what comes up and we'll see what happens for the rest of the video. All of my pages for my album are built. I'm not actually going to go through everything, but I am going to go through this top one because after I had mentioned that I was probably not going to be making my pages based on the papers, I went ahead and did just that. So I'm going to show you how I decided on that. As I was looking at my papers, this is the cover sheet, the Scenic Route sheet. I told you before that I was looking at this as a cover design, and I will probably use that as a cover design for a different album. But as I was sitting here looking at this and thinking about how I wanted my album pages to go, I decided I was going to cut this directly down the middle, like I was going to for the album, and I was going to put this on one side and these two pieces on one side, but this was going to be a feature that was going to open, and this was going to be a pocket. So what I've done here, I actually went a step further. I then cut this off so that I have a pocket here. So this piece is going to go here, and then the stripes here are going to go on here, and then I'll have a photo mat that slides in there. Then I'm just going to open this up. This piece is going to be on the front of here, and this piece is going to be on the front of here. So you're essentially going to see this entire piece here on the actual page. So none of the other features in this album are dependent on the papers, only this one. So I just wanted to come back and show you this and just give you an idea again about how things just jump into my mind like that. So then I go ahead and work with them. But otherwise, the rest of the elements, they are all just what I have decided would look good or work well with the spaces that I had for my folio. Remember, I had those pages where I needed to have the spacing for my spines. So I did go ahead and do a left page, a right page, and I did a half top and a half bottom, and then I have the center of my folio. And I hope you will stick around for the reveal when I do my flip through of my Scenic Route album once it is finished. And remember, if you are interested in purchasing the pre-cut mini album kit, I have a link in the description box below that you can order that. And once the album is done, then I will have the tutorial available if you wanted just to purchase the tutorial if you already have the paper. As always, happy crafting, and I will see you in the next video.